Hi, I'm Ren.
I'm Sam.
I'm Tosh,
And
we're
we're
the
the
T
T-Swift
Swift sisters.
Welcome back to the T Swift Sisters podcast, a Taylor Swift fan podcast for Swifties by Swifties. In today's episode, we are diving headfirst into the tortured poets department with Taylor Swift. Here's this week's Swift Scoop. Okay, so I think a great place to start after our little pause, time off from last week is the new Apple Music playlist that came out while we were off. So I'm super excited to talk with you guys today about that. But basically, what essentially happened is that Taylor, which super like sidetracking a little bit, I'm surprised that it was Apple Music and not like Spotify this time.
Right?
Oh,
Like, is she going back and forth in between Spotify and Apple Music so that like everybody gets a little bit of like everything she's releasing? Is that what we're thinking? Because I feel like she was on Spotify for like 3 albums straight.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Midnights was a Spotify thing. 1989 was Spotify. Speak Now, I feel like didn't get that much, but I feel like it was also Spotify. I don't know. But
Yeah, even how they changed the colors of the bar and stuff to match the eras, like it was definitely
yeah.
Spotify. Spotify was the Swiftie.
I literally thought that Taylor and like Apple Music's like collab ended, like their contract or something. I was like, oh, she's like not going back to Apple Music. And yet here we are.
I do think someone made them like on Spotify for
No, it's
her release.
actually it's Taylor, like on the link that
Oh,
I
on
shared.
Spotify?
Oh, on
I'm
Spotify.
saying someone made a Spotify playlist to match all those on Apple Music.
Okay. No, but what about the voice notes? Like that's what we can't get. So if you're a
Oh, yeah.
Spotify Swiftie, you can find, I'm sure everybody like the podcast, I mean the playlist is out there, but each playlist on Apple Music starts with a little voice note from Taylor, and if you don't have Apple Music, you can only listen to like a little clip of it.
Mm.
So that link that we're going to share in the show notes of today's episode, if you don't have Apple Music, you can click that and like listen to a little snippet of her little voiceover talking about like the process of the creation of these songs or like why these songs are in each group kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Okay.
right.
Essentially, while we were off, Taylor kind of confirmed the theory that Tortured Poets is like a stages of grief kind of thing. Like the 5 stages of grief, which we're going to go over today. If you didn't know, like me, you're going to learn today.
You took up a class.
Yeah, literally. Like today's lesson is 100% the 5 stages of grief. And what's fun about it too is that so Swifties were kind of theorizing that the album covers were the representation of the 5 stages of grief. And what she actually did was used 5 of the songs that are going to be released on the album as the title of each stage of grief, if that makes sense. It should like come together more as we talk about it.
Right.
But I was like kind of surprised to see that because it's actual track names. So I'm like, does that kind of tell us what the track is going to be about or like where in the Tortured Poets era Taylor was when creating this track? Like on that level of grief kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into it. Essentially, the 5 playlists on the Apple Music playlist thing start with a little description, right? So it starts with this description on each one, and then there's a little individual one kind of talking about what stage of grief it is. So it says, when Taylor Swift announces an album, the world takes an interest. That's certainly what happened in the days after she unveiled the Tortured Poets department, as intrepid Swifties began hunting and assembling and pinning clues to digital corkboards, eventually landing on the theory that her 11th studio album is sure to explore the 5 stages of heartbreak. And when Swifties agree upon a theory, Taylor takes an interest. So naturally, she responded by crafting a series of exclusive playlists, choosing songs of her own that fit each stage. I'm so excited. I can't. It's like some of the songs like broke my heart, but also I'm like,
know.
yeah, no, I can't. Okay. Each playlist contains a message from Taylor describing some of the feelings she had and what stages of her life she was going through when she was creating some of these songs. We're going to each go through one of the playlists. The first playlist is called I Love You, It's Ruining My Life songs. And this is the denial stage of heartbreak and grief. And it features songs like The Love Drunk Oblivion of Lavender Haze, others like Lover and Sweet Nothing.
Oh.
And in Taylor's voice note, she even mentions that in this stage, it's where all the red flags come out, but you're like so in love that you ignore them.
Okay, so for this one, the message is, this is a list of songs about getting so caught up in the idea of something that you have a hard time seeing red flags, possibly resulting in moments of denial and maybe a little bit of delusion.
Not her being Delulu.
Not her being Delulu in the song Lover. Like, wait, that's like America's love song. Like,
yes, and Lavender Haze that we got. Remember, on TikTok we got the description, the background context of the song. That shook me.
Sweet Nothing is another one that hurts. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, because if you notice, her non-re-recorded albums are not part of the playlist. Like, it is only Taylor-owned songs. But
right.
For some reason, I was thinking of Reputation, just like off the top of my head. Like, I feel like King of My Heart is probably a Delulu Drunk Oblivion song.
Oh.
I agree.
Cruel Summer was on this one too.
And Treacherous.
Oh,
I love Treacherous.
No, it hurts.
Treacherous was on this first playlist.
Yes.
Betty was on this one.
Dang.
Ours, Superman, Bejeweled. I can't. Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince. It hurts. It honestly hurts.
Were we the Delulu ones all along?
No, like, I guess I am literally Delulu. Thank God Paper Rings wasn't on there, because like that would hurt a lot, honestly.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not.
Yeah. Maybe it was just like she didn't want to have so many songs, but damn. Because like literally all of the Lover album then would be almost in the Delulu era.
Right. So the second playlist, You Don't Get to Tell Me About Sad Songs, is about anger. So that stage of grief. And it has songs like Vigilante Shit, Bad Blood, and Would've, Could've, Should've.
Yes.
These songs all have one thing in common. I wrote them while feeling anger. Over the years, I've learned that anger can manifest itself in a lot of different ways, but the healthiest way it can manifest itself in my life is when I can write a song about it. Mm-hmm.
The fact that Is It Over Now is on it, it like encompasses this very well, I feel like.
Yes. Bad Blood, that's definitely an anger song. Mad Woman, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Dear John,
and Would've, Could've, Should've, like,
yes.
Mr. Perfectly Fine was iconic in that one. That's an iconic song for that one.
Also, I saw Babe, and I was like, Babe, okay.
Yeah. That one's,
Babe.
How could you do this? How could you do this, babe? That one. Yeah. I'm like trying to think of the lyrics. Like, I know the non-angry parts. Where are the angry parts of this song? I Bet You Think About Me. Like, okay, Tay.
Love. This one is Am I Allowed to Cry? Taylor's message says, this playlist takes you through songs I've written when I was in the bargaining stage. Times when you're trying to make deals with yourself or someone you care about, you're trying to make things better. You're oftentimes feeling really desperate because oftentimes we have a gut intuition that tells us things are not going the way that we hope, which makes us more desperate, which makes us bargain more. Interesting.
Essentially, like, kind of begging for someone, begging for like the relationship to work, trying to give like everything that you have. So like putting everything that you have basically on the table. I'm curious to see. Oh, I'm surprised. I feel like Tolerate It would have been a good one for this.
I was about to say the same thing.
Right?
Kind of back and forth feeling. I'm surprised it's not here.
I'm surprised.
I'm surprised Soon You'll Get Better is on here. Is it like because she's bargaining?
She's like, basically, I think the idea of soon you'll get better is like knowing that somebody is not going to get better. And it's like that, like, having that almost like Delulu and bargaining, like, oh, I know you're going to get better. Like, we're good,
Okay.
you're good kind of thing.
The desperation of hoping that it will be true.
Yes.
Yeah.
That for sure. Peace on there, that broke my heart. That was a hard one. Afterglow is like literally the epitome of this playlist, I feel like.
Yes.
I Wish You Would was like another one that I was like 100% yes.
So on our version of this list, we have Tolerated on there.
Yeah, and including Tolerated. Were you going to mention the Archer, Tosh?
Yeah.
That's a good one too. Like bargaining, hoping people will stay and like be on your side kind of thing.
And Come In With the Rain.
So Tolerated was in You Don't Get to Tell Me About Sad Songs. Was in the second playlist we talked about.
In the second playlist? Okay. Which one was that again? So we had
it was the
one was Denial. Second playlist is about anger.
Anger, and Tolerated is on that one.
Okay. I get that.
I think it's because she like in that song she already knows the person isn't tolerating her. It's not that she's like trying to convince herself that they will. Does that make sense?
Yes, I totally get that. Like you've already accepted the bargaining aspect of it, so now you've moved on. No, because I guess
it comes before.
So she's angry right now. Maybe if it was like her asking them to stay kind of thing.
Right. It's her realizing this is how I'm being treated before she's moving on to, wait, can you treat me better? Like, can you change? Like, it's the part where she's realizing. So that's like the anger part.
So it's like the anger before, like, wait, I'm going to do everything I can to like make you stay.
Exactly.
Okay. So the fourth playlist we have is called Old Habits Die Screaming Songs, which is about depression and sadness.
We're going to be exploring the feelings of depression that often lace their way through my songs. In times like these, I'll write a song because I feel lonely or hopeless, and writing a song feels like the only way to process that intensity of an emotion. And while these things are really, really hard to go through, I often feel like when I'm either listening to songs or writing songs that deal with this intensity of loss and hopelessness, usually that's in the phase where I'm going to get past that feeling.
I was 1,000,000% not surprised to see You're Losing Me on here.
Same.
I feel like that should have been the first song on the list. Like, I was surprised to see Champagne Problems.
Oh, I was going to say that one makes sense.
It when you think of the story, it makes sense, but for whatever reason, like, I just don't think of Champagne Problems as like a sad song. I guess it's because of like the Eras Tour effect of it all kind of thing.
Yeah.
Forever Winter makes total sense here.
Come on,
Last Kiss.
All Too Well.
All Too Well. I was surprised it was not the All Too Well 10-minute version.
True.
White Horse was another good one for this one.
So also another interesting connection in this playlist of the depression songs is that it includes songs that refer to that infamous hallway that she sings about. So like Maroon and Coney Island, there's always mention of this hallway in the lyrics.
For real? A hallway?
Yeah. I don't want, I'm not going to sing.
No. I'm not asking you to sing. I'm just like thinking right here, like.
You said Coney Island?
Standing hollow-eyed in the hallway.
Standing hollow-eyed in the hallway. Yes. No. What I was going to say, do you think this hallway, because remember the Coney Island hotel story bolter thing from Tortured Poets that we talked about a few episodes ago?
Like if it's a physical hallway that something happened.
In Coney Island, it's where you're standing in the hallway with a big cake, happy birthday.
Oh, but that I feel like that's referencing the All Too Well 10-minute version. You didn't come to my 21st birthday thing.
Also, You're Losing Me. There's also
There's a hallway there too.
pull it up, Tosh.
Got it.
Because Coney Island is like about all of her exes, right? Like
Right.
things like there's the
the
Calvin
culmination.
Harris speech.
Yeah.
I think that one is like the
Now you're
birthday.
You're Losing Me is now you're running down the hallway and you know what they all say. You don't know what you got until it's gone.
Wow. So Taylor Swift there's a big hallway motif in Taylor's music,
Right.
specifically with depression songs.
The hallway of depression.
Look at that. We're scholars today.
Ask Merriam-Webster.
Thanks, Merriam-Webster.
Us teaching the stages of grief and realizing the hallway motif.
The last playlist is called I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. And it is the fifth and final stage of grief, which is acceptance, where we just realize that we have a loss and we come to terms with it and find peace. It has songs like You're on Your Own, Kid, The One, Long Story Short, and even Daylight.
Here's the message. We finally find acceptance and can start moving forward from loss or heartbreak. These songs represent making room for more good in your life, making that choice. Because a lot of the time when we lose things, we gain things too.
I'm just really sad about You're on Your Own, Kid because of how many times she played it at the Eras tour while she was going through the heartbreak, especially being that, I don't know if you guys know, so today, April 8th, when we're recording this episode, is the 1-year anniversary of like the breakup that everybody found out. The first shows after this anniversary were the Tampa shows, and Tampa was the first time that she played You're on Your Own, Kid.
So was that her accepting her loss?
I think so, yeah, because there have been like rumors and stuff that obviously we don't know the real timeline of things. This is just the date that it was announced, but that they had kind of already been like broken up for a little while. So like maybe this is kind of when she like the news was already out, come to terms with it, like she's at the last stage of grief. That's really sad. And also like why is Daylight on here? Because
well,
I can do it with a broken heart, I guess. That's how I feel. The One is like such a good song for that too, I feel like.
Which one?
The One.
Oh, yeah. And I was so happy to see Long Story Short here because I always felt like that was my empowering song, that that's how I interpreted it. And I'm like, yay, she has it there. That's a good thing, you know?
Yeah, that is a good thing. Like that's like the type of acceptance that you want to think about. I would say You're on Your Own, Kid also. Like You're on Your Own, Kid kind of is a little bit sadder, but like Long Story Short is like about like how she survived and she's like so much better off now. Right. I love that. I like that one too. Closure. I feel like,
and I forgot that you existed.
I forgot that you existed. Clean. That is such a big one to have on there.
Yeah.
Now That We Don't Talk. That's another good one. Begin Again I feel like that one's a little like surprising.
Really?
Well, I think she's accepting like what's happened to her in the past and choosing to move on anyway. And like have another first date, even though knowing how it could end. Yeah.
Okay. Deep. I get it. Evermore is a good one here too.
Oh, yeah.
This pain wouldn't be forevermore. Yeah, I love the playlist. I love them. Like, I feel like they do such a good job at kind of also helping you understand some of the narratives of these Taylor Swift songs.
I have a question. Okay. So now that we've seen these playlists on Apple Music, do you guys have a favorite one?
Are you asking like if we have a favorite one as in
like as a whole, like seeing
like all of my favorite songs are on this one kind of thing?
No, it doesn't have to be your favorite songs. You just like the grouping.
Like it makes the most sense of the songs that are selected. You resonate with it more.
I was literally about to say that. Yes. What resonates with you out of all these? I can give mine. I like I Can Do It With a Broken Heart song.
I like those too. My choice though is gonna have to be I Love You, It's Ruining My Life songs. I'm a Delulu queen at heart.
We love that.
Mine is You Don't Get to Tell Me About Sad songs.
Okay, she's an angry queen.
I'm an angry queen and I love all these songs and I think they're very fitting.
Great.
You're Not Sorry is such a good song on there too. Damn, this one does have
I know. Tough question.
all of them are so good. But yeah, I'm gonna go Delulu for me.
Okay. We love that.
Hopeless romantic probs.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so we have this episode releasing, then we have one more episode, and then the episode that we come to after is going to be our album review. Okay, but basically, we're here. It's Tortured Poets Department month, era, life,
Moment.
time. I don't know. Do you think that Taylor's going to do like promo for the album, like SNL, Jimmy Fallon?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I feel like SNL wouldn't fit.
I just feel like SNL like is almost waiting, or like the world is waiting. Like Travis hosted SNL like around this time last year. You can't tell me that a Travis hosting SNL and Taylor performing is not the most iconic duo.
Oh yeah.
And also the perfect place to like perform a TTPD song or two songs.
Manifest.
I'm gonna go for that one. I'm gonna be Delulu as I am and say that that's how I think they're gonna promo the album.
Stretch.
Rude.
I just don't think it's like it's gonna depend on the vibe, obviously, but I don't like I see it as like a folklore Evermore vibe, which I know is not the case, but like that's what I see. And I see like even though that was dropped during COVID, like I see her just like promoting it like I don't know, like more normally versus like out at a show or like just because of the nature of the album. Like I don't think that she'd go all out to promo it, but I could be very wrong.
Okay.
I get what you're saying. That's why I didn't immediately think something like SNL because it depends on the vibe of the album. Maybe like a late night talk show.
Yeah, like a Stephen Colbert or something.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna stay Delulu about SNL because All Too Well 10-minute version, like I feel like that was not really an SNL vibe. And
Right.
like she did it anyway.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna stick to my guns with this one and go SNL Delulu.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope it happens.
I know, right? So fun. Okay.
That about wraps up this week's episode of the T Swift Sisters podcast. Before we log off, please remember to follow our podcast on your listening platform by clicking the plus button next to our show and give us a rating. Follow us on social media for live TS news updates and so much more. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at T Swift Sisters Pod or Twitter at T Swift Sisters. Thanks for savoring this week's Swift Scoop. We hope you've had your fill of all things Taylor Swift, and we'll see you next week right here on the T Swift Sisters podcast.
Bye.